So I can help everybody at every level except the top. The top are graduates of my academy that I have built, and also for my coaching clients. So if you're looking for a fast track and you don't want to take the 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year to learn everything from A to Z about water treatment, I offer an 8-week, highly intensive workshop, and we cover everything in that 8 weeks time. So let me show you what that looks like on the next slide. This is a 12-step method, 4 phases with 3 topics for each phase. This serves for a student that comes on as a student community member in my membership program, which I offer lifetime memberships, I offer annual memberships, and quarterly memberships. It just depends on what lane of traffic you're in this freeway, so to speak. Even the people that are just getting their big toe in the pool water in our ecosystem of daily living with water and all things water treatment academy, they can become a student community member and learn these things over time. Or again, if you wish to fast track this and become a coaching client, you can learn this faster. Now, the money's about the same, so it makes no difference to me if you want to take a year to do this or do it in 8 weeks. But there's a degree of accountability that is very well stepped up and increased during the 8 weeks. You do not want to fall behind. Whereas with the student membership, there's accountability from you to me, but at a student level rather than a coaching client's level. And so if it takes you longer to get the training wheels off, it doesn't matter to me. As long as you learn, that's the most important thing, because everybody benefits from that point going forward in your home or at your place of business or both. Let's look at this real quickly. So this is my Trident water treatment defense system. And if you came from one of my courses, for example, I have the in-home water testing video series. I cover in phase 1 some of the aspects of learning, or 3 in phase 1, to learn all about water, including water testing and the importance of. And so I've solved one big problem that you have with your water where you might feel a little concerned or greatly concerned. Maybe this is one of those things that keeps you up at night because of an incident you saw in the news, or whether it be local or regional or national or international. And you just want to be better prepared because you're going to need water every day for the rest of your life. And you're going to be working with that water, whether you're drinking, cooking, bathing, showering, brushing your teeth, whatever. Need to protect yourself at a maximum level. And disposable water bottles is not a be-all, end-all. Water has much more complexity to that. It has layers. And I'm the only one in the marketplace that actually teaches the student who are do-it-yourselfers, who have taken on projects in their home. And this is just one of those other projects that they need to learn on their own, but not by themselves. They need to be guided. So consider yourself, if you're a Star Wars fan, you're a Luke Skywalker. You're a young Padawan. And I'm Yoda, who is a guru who has already seen the battle and has the battle scars to show for it, and what you must learn to be better prepared so you can be the hero under the roof of your home and everybody that you care for, whether it be at home or at your business or both. And the best thing that you're going to have is a greater quality of life. Not just someone that can live to triple digits, but enjoy those years. How would you like to have the freedom to continue to be a pilot flying your Cessna around well into your early 100s? Because your eyesight hasn't gone, your faculties haven't gone, your mental faculties as well as your physical abilities, you still have complete control over them. You were not slighted with devastating comorbidities, which is one or more things that can cause a compromised immune system and have the effects of being attached to some medical device that won't allow you to go do all the things that you want to do later in life. Keep up with your kids, dance at your granddaughter's wedding reception, seeing your great-grandchildren, maybe even your great-great-grandchildren. You know, Time Magazine actually had an issue with a very young child, a little girl, saying this could be a person that lives to 140 years. I know a lot of you are probably saying, I don't want to live that long. But imagine if you had all of your faculties, all control over your body. Maybe water is a secret fountain of youth. I think a little bit. There's a little bit of truth in everything. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, it cures everything. It doesn't, but it can help prevent a lot of exposure to a lot of bad things that are stepping on lives quicker than ever before. So let's take a look at these 4 phases, because I'm the man with the plan. So here we go. Phase 1, learning the fundamentals of water. You got your first topic of discussion to develop your situational awareness, and do that through reading a copy of a book that I wrote in the last year called Exposing Hidden Dangers of Water. And it's an ebook. And it helps you, by the time you're done with it, to identify who your enemy is, because you need to know what you're up against before you do anything. I guess it's kind of like going to an AA meeting, or if you're in therapy, the first thing you have to admit is that you have a problem, and then you're halfway home. Once you identify with that and you're no longer in denial or just oblivious to it, then everything's doable. Everything becomes solvable because you identified the enemy, which is water contaminants in your water. The second topic of discussion is having perfect companion to the book, which is also called Exposing Hidden Dangers of Water, but it's an audiobook. And it follows the old saying of repetition is the mother of all learning. So the more that you absorb reading the book and clicking on the links that I offer you to search even more on your own and gaining a deeper perspective of the subject matter, you could also be listening to some of these things. And I include some other stories that I didn't include in the original book to try to help keep it interesting. But, you know, how many times have you commuted to work, either on a subway or your own car or the transit system, and your mind just goes into neutral? You know, you're listening to music or something like that, but, you know, you can dig in and convert that method of transportation, that modality, and convert it into a university on wheels. Or maybe you're just walking around on your breaks and you put this on like a podcast and you get to hear more about what you've been reading. And I believe that it accelerates, it doubles the effect, the concentration of learning and retaining what you've learned, because there's a lot of information to pass on. The third topic of discussion in phase 1 is to discover all aspects of water, not just certain portions. You need to understand everything. Just like if you needed to understand who your enemy is, you need to know their culture, how they were raised, what are their belief systems, what are their cultures in their nation, on their island, in their village. When you can identify that, you can also identify what motivates them, what's their strengths and what's their weaknesses. And that's what we want you to understand about water. It isn't just the ocean is blue. We know better than that. We're adults. We get it. It's not all clear. It's not all friendly waters. You can take polar extreme observations. Water is essential to life, but too much water can cause you to drown to death. So somewhere in between is some best case scenarios, and that's what I'm here to pass on to my students. And these are some of the things that you could learn if you came on either as a coaching client in a workshop, or if you came on as a student community member in our membership plan and learned this over as long as you need, whether it be for a few months or a year or more than 1 year. In this third topic of discussion in phase 1, I wrote a book called Trident Water Defense Phase 1, Water Testing, so that you could be empowered over your water. It's basically a closed loop. It has a feel of an encyclopedia because of all of the research that I performed and documented and cited, including links to the authoritative sites that I used in my research. And so I want to give you curated information rather than just noise from the internet. In phase 2, we go on to developing a water improvement project installation strategy. I know that's a big mouthful, but we're basically developing a game plan about our water, because all through phase 1, you learned what water is about. You learned how to test your water, whether you do it at home or mail it into a state licensed facility or both. And now you know what you're working with, and then you learn how to deal with it in the form of a game plan, a strategic game plan, which is the first topic in this phase. And so it's to help you develop a treatment plan and list your goals and objectives of your water treatment. The next topic after that is designing your custom solution. So once you know all about water and where you stand and what it's going to take to solve it, then we show you how to design a solution that fits your budget and fits your goals and objectives. And so this covers the aspects of project management planning and all of the details that go into it. These are the finer brush strokes and the best practices that can make or break you if you don't have the information. And you're like, oh, I wish I knew better. Let me tell you, my friend, 4 decades of being exposed to the water treatment industry has taught me a thing or two. I wish I had someone like me to help me bypass 4 decades of having to learn shoulda, woulda, coulda and put it into motion and avoiding the pitfalls. This is how I get the scars in you. You know, we've all heard of other people's money, but OPB means other people's brains. And I'm basically giving you a brain dump of what I've learned in 4 decades. And how to plan your project out accordingly, because it is all in the details. The next topic of discussion is, once you've developed these, because they all build on each other, each topic of discussion in each phase, now you make a choice about your existing systems if you have them, and if you need to just upgrade the existing systems that you have to make them smarter, make them more efficient in terms of water that can notify you, all of those kind of aspects. Or should you just go ahead and ditch it and replace it with a complete new installation with new components that are smarter, cheaper, more responsive? After you make that decision, we move into phase 3, and that's where you get tactical for your water treatment defense installation. So before you can get tactical, you have to have a strategy, and we already established that. Now, get actual hands-on. We know why we're doing what we're doing. This is going to be the how in terms of hands-on getting things done. So the first thing you have to do is consider your materials, called living in a material world. Some of you guys know with a wink what I'm referencing in a song. Anyway, water treatment improvement project materials and gathering your shopping list. So you're going to learn what to look for in terms of materials based on what you got now, so that you can make a foolproof plan of what materials you absolutely need and what components and system that you already decided to either upgrade or replace. And I'll show you how to do it and make sure that you're not fleeced of your hard-earned money. The next thing is number 8, which is the second topic of discussion in phase 3, is having the right tools for the right job. And so you get that through our water treatment improvement on tools. There's 2 parts to this topic. It was so vast. It's all designed for you to make your project and keep it simple. Finally, rounding out the third topic of phase 3, you bring everything together. You got it all laid out. You got your materials, you got your components, you know what order things are going in, and now let the sawdust fly. So this is the custom layered installation go time. Let's light this candle, as the astronauts used to say before liftoff. You're launching your project, and you're doing it in full confidence because you got the right training every step of the way. You know why you're doing what you're doing. There's no greater feeling in the world other than when it's done, of course. Then phase 4 is the life ever after, and they lived happily ever after, so to speak. So phase 4 is about caring for your water treatment defense system or systems, depending on where you live. If you're renting an apartment, it's probably a system. If it's in a home or a business that you have control over the water flowing into the home or business, then you have multiple systems layered. So the 10th topic of discussion is the dashboard instrument cluster. I use a lot of metaphors to help people understand. That's why I use cars and different things like this dashboard of a jet. You have all of these ways of monitoring. So you have a monitor or a set of monitors for the purpose of water safety and performance testing. And once you have those, you can read it like a book and you can pilot your own jet, so to speak. You're in complete control, probably more so than you ever have been when it comes to water treatment in your life. The next topic is basically referring to maintenance. We call this the pit crew. And you can see there's a little car there with a checklist on a clipboard of maintenance items that are scheduled. And so that's what the solution is having scheduled maintenance periods to protect the all popular, coveted, the golden goose. If you remember Aesop's fables, you got to read it if you never heard of it, because the moral of the story, so to speak, is you don't want to be too greedy and abuse the golden goose, because it stops laying golden eggs, and that's what you want. And your golden eggs in this metaphor is the best water that is enhanced. It's not just purified and filtered, it's enhanced because of the layered system that we talk about. So protect your golden goose. Perform the maintenance. It's cheaper than car maintenance, and you don't get any greasy oil underneath your nails. Finally, to round out phase 4 as well as the entire Trident water treatment defense system is number 12, coming in as the segment called Mr. and Mrs. Handy Eye Fix-It. And that's you learning troubleshooting and repairs so that you benefit by going quickly and easily from being in an offline service back to an online service of all of your systems. They all have a go green light, so to speak. I'm going to teach you things that most water treatment installers won't even have a grip on. And I should know because I supported people that installed water treatment systems for a living worldwide. You would be surprised. You think everybody's a brainiac. There's always something they don't understand. They understand how to change a light bulb. They understand how to change a filter, but they don't necessarily know which filter needs to be changed or how many of them need to be changed because of cause and effect. So I go and perform a deep dive in that segment to show you exactly what you should be thinking about. No one is teaching these things to the average consumer. This is the only place you're going to find it. And I want you to succeed because I care about you, because I know that you care about other people under your roof. You'd be the hero. I can be the crotchety old hobbling around Yoda, but you could be the hero every day. But you got to learn this stuff. And I'm taking the 40 years and I'm bringing it to you. So I wish you well in whatever decision that you make. Just know that water is far more complex than what meets the eye. But I break it down into simple, it feels like paint by numbers fashion. Just break it down for you and not try to speak above you. I try to always bring it to a level that brings some common ground with something you've conceptually understood before, like doing maintenance on your car, developing a project, because if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you've done other projects long before this one, so you're already ahead of the game, you're hands-on, you're smart. I'm just going to make you better. Think of this as Top Gun. You may have learned to fly someplace else and get off the aircraft carrier and get back on in one piece, but we all know Top Gun's best of the best from the Navy fighter pilots. And it's my Top Gun, so to speak, for DIYers who want to not just survive, but thrive in their lives with the best water. And the everyday aspects of water are the topics that I discuss and cover so that you round out your education. I really hope that you've been able to learn a little bit more about myself and dailylivingwithwater.com. You can learn more about our academy, All Things Water Treatment Academy, through that website. So wish you all the best, and we'll see you on the other side when you're ready. Take care.